So we get to talk about a little history and some music.
That's right.
All right.
Two important things in Texas history. So 2 documentaries in 1 year, that is crazy, a lot of work. How did you manage to do that?
You know, I don't recommend necessarily biting off 2 large feature docs at the same time. Working on them at the same time wasn't as complicated as people thought, but finishing them at the same time and premiering them at the same time was really a challenge. But I'm so glad I did, because it allows me to really look at 2 sides of a very different coin, but both important stories in Texas history. And as a Texan, you know, it was an honor and a privilege to get to play in both of these stories.
Amazing. Well, I heard, was it in a tower, involved a little bit of animation, is that correct? I'm kind of the animation nerd for the website. So where did you actually find animators for that? Are they local or?
Well, they're local to me. I live down in Austin. There's 44 minutes of original animation in Tower. It's a mostly animated documentary. And the animators that I worked with are some of the most incredible artists I've ever seen anywhere. And they worked, before working with me, they worked with Rick Linklater on his 2 animated films, Scanner Darkly and Waking Life. And, you know, Waking Life was a big inspiration to me. And so I was thrilled to be able to work with some of the same folks that Rick worked with.
Amazing. And let's see, a song for you, of course, like one of the longest running music show television. I think, of course, you've been asked this a lot, but what are your favorite artists that you worked with?
Yeah, sure. You know, when I got the go-ahead to make this film, the very first thing I did was run out and book an interview with Willie Nelson. You know, Austin City Limits started with Willie in the very first episode in the fall of 1974, and I thought there's really no better place for me to get started on the film. You know, Willie's a national treasure, and to go spend any time with him, and I had the pleasure of sitting on his bus across from him, and we talked about all different kinds of music that he was inspired by, artists that he grew up listening to, like Bob Wills, and some of the newer artists that he's into today. And from there, you know, we really just started picking out some of the greatest artists that are touring all over America. I interviewed 50 different musicians. So, you know, Lyle Lovett, Robert Earl Keen, Jeff Bridges, Kerry Rodriguez, St. Vincent, Tim DeLauder from here in Dallas of the Polyphonic Spree. You know, it was like a literal who's who in American music, and each time I got a chance to speak with those folks, it was a thrill.
That is amazing. And let's see. I know you've mostly done documentaries, but here at the Nerd Show, we're pretty nerd-oriented. So if you could be involved with any, with either Star Trek or Star Wars, you know, actually moving over into fiction,
Sure.
What would it be?
You know, J.J. Abrams hasn't left a lot of room at the table on either of those, so I think I'd be more interested in launching a whole new franchise. You know, if you or any of your nerds have some scripts you want to send my way, there's got to be a new way to look at outer space that focuses a little more on the human side of what's happening out there, and a little less on the lasers and blasters and but I'm game. Let's do it.
I highly respect that. I had to get out to work on a script myself then. All right, well, thank you so very much for talking to us.